Welcome back, Patriots. Welcome to Sons of Liberty 1773. This is indeed where men and women from around the world gather in defense of liberty. I am your host, Bill Bailey, who will be channeling the patriotism of America's founding fathers, such as Sam Adams, who wrote in a letter to James Warren on October 24, 1780, saying, "If ever the time should come when vain and aspiring men shall possess the highest seats in government, our country shall stand in need of its experienced patriots to prevent its ruin." Today is November 11th, 2023, year of our Lord. It is Veterans Day. It is this special day every year that we take time to recognize and honor all of our military men and women, past, present, and future, who have served and continue to serve in the armed forces. So on behalf of the Sons of Liberty 1773 community, we give you our utmost respect, reverence, and gratitude to all of our veterans. Thank you for your service. America would have never been born and would not continue to exist without our brave men and women who sacrificed their private life to protect our nation and our way of life. America without her soldiers would be like God without his angels, wrote Claudia Pemberton, who is an American author. So true. Folks, have you seen the immense and very angry gatherings of hundreds of thousands of Islamic supremacists here in America and around the world? They claim they are pro-Palestine when we know, in actuality, these are the people seeking the demise of Israel and the Judeo-Christian West. These are the people who relentlessly chant, "Death to America, death to America, death to America, death to Israel," while shouting Allah Akbar. So have you ever wondered what Allah Akbar actually means? We always think it means God is great because that's what the media tells us, but it's a little deeper than that and maybe a little more sinister. So this is over at the National Pulse. And here's a couple of homemade signs that one crowd was holding up. "Massacre those who insult Islam. Freedom, go to hell." And you can read this entire article over at the National Pulse. Still think Allah Akbar means God is great? You should probably read this, and I'm just going to skip down to here. Why Allah Akbar? While most media outlets routinely translate Allah Akbar as God is great, it actually means Allah is greater. That is, the God of Islam is superior to anything that non-Muslims worship or hold dear. This declaration of superiority frequently accompanies acts that are designed to enforce the subjugation and submission of the non-believer or infidel, amounting to a kind of explanation of why a particular act of violence is being perpetrated. And then I'm going to buzz through some stuff, folks, just to show what's going on around the world in response to Israel protecting herself. Tens of thousands gather for pro-Palestinian march in D.C. to demand Gaza ceasefire. And there were hundreds, I think, hundreds of thousands that stormed D.C. Open borders, folks. It's been a Trojan horse, and our enemies are amongst us. But they were, vandalizing some of our founding father statues. They stormed into the Capitol. It looks like an insurrection to me. The crowd, though, itself was incredible. And Steve Bannon commented that if you'd have walked through that crowd with a "Make America Great Again" hat, or were holding the Gadsden flag, or for that matter, an American flag, he said they would have tore you up. The religion of peace. And then tens of thousands march across Spain in solidarity with the Palestinians. Look at Israel USA super terror. These are extremists, religious extremists that hate Judaism, hate Christianity, and basically hate anybody that is not a Muslim, is my guess. Chief Nerd over on X Now, hundreds of pro-Palestinian protesters are outside Biden's Delaware home chanting "No ceasefire, no vote." And in November, we remember. Let's listen to this a little bit, if I can get it to play here. Okay, you get the idea. Happening now, anti-Israel radicals infiltrate and occupy offices of the New York Times. This was actually a couple days ago. They stormed that. This is like the new BLM riots. Then this. Whoops. Pro-Hamas agitators tear down American flags, march through Columbus Circle, attempt to break into New York Grand Central Station during mass anti-Israel protests. This is going on now. Violent Hamas supporters target Grand Central Station and New York Times, attempt to breach doors, police officers shelter inside. That's at the Gateway Pundit. This at the Gateway Pundit as well. Protesters in downtown New York decided to attack our bus. Former UFC champion Jamahal Hill reports live from New York as violent anti-Israel mob attack his bus. Pro-Palestinian protesters, this is at the Daily Mail, storm the New York Times building, vandalizing the facade as hundreds of high schoolers and teachers walk out of class and protest a Gaza bombing. This was a couple days ago, actually. General Flynn just weighed in on what's going on in New York. Regarding Grand Central Station and the police station. He says, if they had broken into where the police officers were, do you think they may have beheaded them? This is in America, not Gaza. It is globalism versus Americanism. The alliance consists of communist states in tow with the radicalized Islamist states against the remaining democracies, and pretty much all that's left is America as the last redoubt of civilization. Let's listen to this one, folks. Let's back it up here. Here we go. Okay, that's enough of that. This over at The Guardian, pro-Palestinian, whoops, hang on, folks. Hang on. Let me get that back up here. Let's try that again. Pro-Palestinian protest assemble in London as police jostle with far-right groups. Folks, London has allowed open borders. They've allowed their country to be overrun with these extremists. I believe this crowd exceeded 300,000 people. Protesters have begun assembling for a pro-Palestine rally in London that is expected to draw hundreds of thousands on Saturday, while police have jostled with far-right groups attempting to reach the, can't pronounce that word, so I'll just skip it. And then this over on X, this is interesting. This is Radio Genoa. London has conquered, dark times ahead. Watch this, let me back it up here. Hang on, let me back that up. Here we go. That's the London Bridge. Look at that. This at, I believe, the Gateway Pundit. Hundreds of pro-Palestinian protesters flood Jewish neighborhoods in Melbourne, Australia. It's happening all around the world, folks. To intimidate Jews, synagogues evacuated after mobs form outside. Muslims parade with ISIS flags. Daily Mail, Hamas reveals its plans for permanent war with Israel. Terror group says it hopes the Arab world will stand with us and boasts no one in the religion is experienced calm. So they want a global jihad. And I'll get to this article in a second. Actually, let me stay right here for just a second. Just hours ago, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said during a speech that all Hamas operatives and terrorists must die. We are going to continue full force. The Gaza Strip will be demilitarized as long as necessary. The Israeli Defense Force will continue to control the security of the Gaza Strip in order to prevent terrorism from it. The October 7th massacre proved once and for all that whenever there is no security control, terrorism comes back and hits us. And this was also proven in the United States. So I will not agree to give up security control under any circumstances. So what Israel's saying, and Benjamin Netanyahu, we're going to destroy the tunnel system, and we're going to exterminate Hamas and the terrorists from the Gaza Strip. And then we are going to stay there as a security authority to make sure the terrorists never set up camp again. I believe the Palestinians will live in peace under Israeli rule, but make no mistake, the Palestinians will never harbor Hamas or terrorists again. That's the grand plan of the Israelis, right? The Muslim world has a different agenda that they tend to reach. Leaders right now, and this is big, folks, from Saudi Arabia, Turkey, and Iran are meeting today. And they are not going to accept what Israel's doing, period. And you know how it's all about now, the Palestinians? What about the Israelis getting mutilated, raped, burned, beheaded? Had they not attacked, we wouldn't be in this predicament right now. So maybe put the blame where it belongs. And they're talking about what the Hamas will do is they will have their tunnel entrances under community centers, mosque, hospitals. That's a big one. The hospitals, thinking, well, they'll never bomb a hospital. And Israel is saying, leave now. We're gonna bomb these sites. But the bottom line is, both sides are entrenched, and this is just going to expand. Okay, it's going to be a major war. That's why we're sending we're going to war with Iran. That's where this is all leading, it's going to get real, folks. I mean, I just think we're already in World War III when we started our proxy war against Russia. But make no mistake, this thing's going to grow, and we're putting our military, we're putting the chess pieces on the board, right, for a global conflict. And China, who is, probably involved in getting us involved with all our military assets going to Ukraine to a point, probably more beyond involved in this, because they'd love to see us in a two-front war as their naval ships continue to circle Taiwan. I just think we're heading for dark days, and it's going to get much worse, and you better be prepping. I think what's coming is going to be biblical. Our greatest tool against evil is praying daily to the Almighty, right? And before I forget, I do want to share this article. I shared it in a community post, but I do want to share it here again and just go over it. This is from Wall Street Silver, his X, formerly Twitter account. Yesterday, the U.S. government tried to borrow $24 billion by selling a bunch of 30-year debt. It was a huge disaster. In order to get enough people to buy, the rate had to dramatically increase. Even then primary dealers had to buy 25% of the debt. The primary dealer are the buyers of last resort who have to buy. China, Japan, Saudi Arabia, Russia, none of them are buying our debt anymore. That's done, folks. China used to be one of our big buyers, and Japan. In fact, most are selling what they already have because they're hoarding gold, by the way. With few buying, the U.S. government is borrowing more than ever. $1.5 trillion in the past 4 months, and they announced another $1.5 trillion in the next 6 months. The U.S. government will have to offer higher and higher rates to attract lenders. And already our We've exploded through the projections of what the interest would be on the national debt alone this year. It hit $1 trillion. It's going to be next year. It's going to far exceed $1 trillion. It's going to be more than Social Security, Medicare, and defense. This is the begin. And they're going to print money, folks. They're not going to fix it. Look at how dysfunctional Washington is, right? There's 8 or 9 good people there that actually get this and realize the dire situation we're in. The other ones are just, we'll talk the BS. They don't do anything. Oh, yeah, we've got to do something about this national debt. Where you been the last 20 years as a congressman? Why is the debt continue to explode? It's not good. And one good thing, and I do want to share this really quick. Let me get rid of this. By the way, there's a soldier there. That is a quote from Isaiah 6:8. Then I heard the voice of the Lord saying, "Whom shall I send, and who will go for us?" And I said, "Here I am, send me." Love our military. They are the best. Let me see if I have that here right now. If I still do have it, I will share it. I thought I did, but maybe I got rid of it. I guess I did. Darn it. Do I see it? I don't. Okay. Anyways, when you look at what countries have the most gold on hand, and you can Google this, go gold reserves by country. America by far has, and I mean by far, the most gold on hand of any other country. That is, if we are to believe that all the gold in Fort Knox is still in Fort Knox or locked up in some cellar at the Federal Reserve. The last time Fort Knox was physically audited, where they went in, they picked up every bar of gold, they weighed it, they cataloged it, was 1957, folks. No one has been in Fort Knox to do an audit since 1957. Ron Paul so famously showed up, said, "I want to see the gold." Said, "You can't go in." Said, "I'm a U.S. Senator, let me in." Said, "Well, that's nice in Washington, D.C., but you have no authority here, Mr. Paul." And they wouldn't let him in. So maybe when we get Trump back in office, we can let him go look, because that could be our savior when the dollar, our fiat currency, ultimately collapses. Is we can tie it back to gold in some fashion, because that's the only way you're going to stabilize it. It's what they did after the Weimar Republic. And I would suggest that everybody own some physical gold and silver, because it's all going to come unglued, folks, at some point. So keep praying and keep prepping. May God keep you and your family safe. I can't emphasize enough praying and prepping. Stock up, folks. We are getting a freeze dryer I ordered from Harvest Right, a large. It's going to be delivered tomorrow, or Monday, not tomorrow, Sunday, Monday. It's coming Monday. When we get it, I'll do a video and as we try to figure out how to make how to freeze dry stuff. But do I want to spend? It was $3-4 grand for a Harvest Right freeze dryer. Do I want to spend that kind of money on something like this? No, I do not. Do I think it's wise to in the times we're in? Obviously, I do. And I've kind of been trying to work around the idea of a freezers, because things go south with the grid. Cyber attack, EMP, because I think that'll be the first thing that struck is our grid, and that goes dark. No one has enough fuel on hand to keep their freezers going. We got 3 freezers full of stuff. And so freeze drying is the ultimate, because you can take anything you want to freeze, you can freeze dry it, put it in a bag, and it's good for 20 years. Rehydrate it, and it's as good as the day you froze it or freeze dried it. And I think, well, I'll just go out and buy a bunch of freeze-dried foods, but it's expensive to buy that stuff. And I just soon buy a freeze dryer and put up a bunch of our own, and then once I'm satisfied that we put enough stuff up, maybe we'll resell the freeze dryer or something. I don't know, but I'm just one of these. I'm the Boy Scout in me. Always be prepared. and better to have and not need than need and not have. So that's it. Until next time, Sons of Liberty out. See you guys.